What if the thing you eat every day is literally stopping your soul from leaving your body at night? What if a single, common ingredient in your snacks is the invisible clog between you and the guidance waiting in your dreams? The title of this video makes a bold claim. The one food Cayce said clogs your spirit. Stop eating this. Before we go any further, I need to be clear. The readings I'll be drawing on do not include a verbatim sentence from Edgar Cayce naming a specific food that clogs the spirit. Instead, what I'm doing here is applying Cayce's repeated teachings about purity, preparation, and vibrational readiness for sleep to modern dietary realities. If we take Cayce's framework seriously about the soul's nightly travels, the need to prepare mind and body, and the way lower energy states invite problematic encounters, then one single dietary suspect stands out as the most likely everyday offender. While Cayce's readings and the sources we used don't explicitly name a single food, if we apply his teachings about purity and sleep preparation to modern diets, the most likely suspect is refined sugar. Here's why and what to do about it. If you find this subject meaningful, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss follow-ups where we test these practices together. Edgar Cayce is often described as the sleeping prophet. Over the first half of the 20th century, he issued thousands of documented readings, many recorded by his stenographer Gladys Davis and preserved by the Association for Research and Enlightenment. Across those files, Cayce returned again and again to a striking idea. During sleep, the human soul loosens its attachment to the physical body by a silver cord and can visit higher realities. He mapped those nocturnal journeys into three broad dimensions. First, the borderland, a realm where souls touch the lingering impressions of earth life, where contacts with earthbound spirits and unresolved emotions occur. Second, what Cayce and his circle often likened to an Akashic-like records realm, a vast library-like repository where information about remedies, past lives, and the soul's patterns can be accessed. Third, the highest realm, a direct communion with creative or divine intelligence, where guidance, mission clarity, and prophetic insight may be received. Cayce's practical point was simple and urgent. Sleep is not idle downtime. It is a sacred opportunity, and how we prepare our consciousness and body before bedtime determines whether that opportunity will be received or wasted. This isn't abstract theory. It's illustrated repeatedly in the files. Consider 4 representative cases from Cayce's documented readings that show how nocturnal soul travel translated into tangible guidance, healing, and life change. I'll refer to the readings by their file numbers, which anchor these stories to Cayce's archive.
Reading number 20671 concerns a businessman who arrived at a crossroads, not knowing whether to remain in a stable but unfulfilling career or to take a risky step aligned with a deeper calling. What followed was not a daytime brainstorm, but a series of dream experiences. In the nights after he set an intention, the man reported being shown images and conversations that clarified his gifts and the people he could serve. Those dream-guided insights led to concrete decisions, new partnerships, a reorientation of his work, and a sense of purpose that altered how he spent his waking hours. The thrust of the reading suggests that the nocturnal encounters were a direct source of practical direction, not mere fantasy. Reading number 31241 relates to a mother whose child was sick. In the dreamlike experiences recorded there, she found herself offered a plant-based remedy while in an otherworldly library, an image that matches Cayce's recurrent description of an Akashic-type realm where remedies and intra-soul knowledge are accessible. After waking, she pursued an herbal treatment consistent with what she had seen, and the child's symptoms improved. Whether you take this as literal medical instruction or as symbolic opening to intuitive healing, the pattern is the same. A prepared sleep state allowed access to information that changed the physical situation. Reading number 33951 tells of a nurse who, after a season of spiritual practice and nocturnal confirmations, came back to her vocation transformed. Her dream experiences strengthened compassion and clarity. She returned to her bedside work with a presence that, by accounts in the file, aided others' recoveries and changed how she interacted with suffering. The reading places emphasis on the inner preparation and the resulting outward change. The dream encounters generated an uplift in how she showed up in the world. And then there's the case often referenced under readings like 31242 about a woman named Martha Robertson. Martha suffered chronic spinal issues that conventional treatments had not resolved. Over a period of nights, she reported experiences that culminated in a profound internal realignment. The documented result in her waking life was a measurable improvement in her spinal condition and movement. Here again, the pattern emerges. Nocturnal contact with higher sources correlated with a healing trajectory that carried into the physical body. Across these cases, there are common threads: intention before sleep, a protective and receptive state, the ability to receive specific information in dreamlike environments, and a practical fruiting of that information in waking life. Cayce's files repeatedly suggest that the difference between a dream that is meaningful and one that is chaotic or frightening lies in preparation: mental, emotional, and physical. So, why does diet belong in this conversation?
Cayce's counsel around sleep preparation is strikingly practical. Quiet the mind, set a clear question or intention, visualize protection, and cultivate bodily conditions that favor subtle perception. While Cayce didn't reduce this to a prescriptive list of foods in the readings we're using here, he was explicit about the link between physical states and spiritual receptivity. A tired, inflamed, anxious, or chemically unstable body is a poorer vessel for high-frequency sleep experiences. If the body vibrates at a lower level, the soul's ability to ascend and maintain contact with higher realms can be hampered. Put simply, an agitated nervous system, fragmented sleep, and chronic inflammatory states make it harder to enter the clear, receptive state those nocturnal realms require. Applied to modern diets, that teaching points to foods that destabilize the nervous system, fragment sleep architecture, and promote inflammation. Among candidates, excessive alcohol, highly processed fats, refined flour, industrial seed oils, refined sugar stands out for the frequency and pattern of its effects. Refined sugar produces rapid blood glucose spikes followed by sharp drops. These swings activate stress hormones, fragment sleep, and can amplify anxiety and intrusive imagery. Many people report more vivid but chaotic dreams or night wakings after high-sugar evenings. From an energetic perspective, and consistent with Cayce's emphasis on purity, sugar creates a kind of stickiness in the body's subtle systems. It's not a moral judgment, it's a functional observation. Sugar wires the nervous system into peaks and troughs, and those peaks and troughs interfere with the delicate attunement that dream travel requires. To be explicit and faithful to the source material, this is an interpretive claim. While Cayce's readings in the files we used do not explicitly single out refined sugar by name, if we take his teachings on purity, the nervous system, and preparatory practice seriously, refined sugar emerges as the single, everyday food most likely to blunt spiritual receptivity at night. Here are two concise reasons that connect refined sugar to what the Cayce files warn against. First, physiological rationale. Sugar fluctuations stimulate cortisol and adrenaline, disrupt deep sleep phases, and increase nighttime awakenings. The more fragmented the sleep structure, the less opportunity there is for the soul to enter and sustain those higher dimension experiences Cayce describes. Second, energetic rationale. Cayce taught that vibration and purity matter. Refined sugar, by producing chemically driven agitation and inflammation, lowers the body-mind's vibrational stability and thus acts like a clog, not in a sensational sense, but as a practical interference with clear reception. If you're ready for a simple experiment, a Cayce-informed protocol you can test for a week, here's a straightforward plan. Think of it as a 7-day spiritual cleanse challenge for your sleep. Day 0, preparation. Decide to remove refined sugar from your diet for 7 consecutive days. By refined sugar, I mean added sugars, table sugar, sodas, candies, many sweetened baked goods, and obvious sugary snacks. Natural whole fruits are not the same. Fruits are bundled with fiber, vitamins, and water. If you're highly sensitive or managing metabolic conditions, consult your healthcare practitioner before making dietary changes. Evening ritual.
10 to 15 minutes total nightly for 7 nights. Begin 2 hours before bed by reducing screen exposure and stimulating conversation. 1 hour before bed, have a light, balanced snack if you need it. A small handful of nuts, a piece of whole fruit, or plain yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon. 30 minutes before lights out, sit comfortably for a short meditation. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. Repeat for 2 minutes to calm the nervous system. Then visualize a protective white light. Call it Christ consciousness, guardian light, or simply a field of pure vibration, descending from above and filling your head, heart, and spine. Say aloud or in your mind one clear question you wish to receive guidance on while you sleep. A single, concise sentence, like, "Show me the next step in my work," or "What does my body most need to heal now?" Keep it focused. Cayce's readings indicate that pointed intention increases the clarity of what is received. Finally, set the practical intention. Tonight, I will not eat refined sugar, and I open to receive guidance. Place a pen and journal by your bedside. Morning practice, immediately upon waking. Before checking your phone, lie still for a minute and recall any images, feelings, phrases, or body sensations from the night. Write whatever you remember in your journal, even if it seems nonsensical. Over days, patterns may emerge. At the end of day 7, review your notes. Did dream clarity improve? Were there more coherent insights or fewer dramatic night wakings? Report back to the comments so the community can compare experiences. Substitutions and practical tips. Replace obvious sugar sources with simple, stabilizing alternatives. Choose whole fruit over candy. Favor complex carbohydrates like oats or sweet potatoes over pastries. Add healthy fats at evening meals. A small portion of avocado, a boiled egg, or a spoonful of nut butter can blunt blood sugar swings. Try herbal teas like chamomile or lemon balm before bed. If you crave sweetness, a touch of cinnamon or a few berries will satisfy more gently than processed sweets. Hydrate well during the day. Dehydration can amplify sugar cravings. Alongside diet, preserve the other Cayce-aligned practices: an intention before sleep, a brief meditative breathing exercise, the white light protective visualization, and a single focused question for dream incubation. These are not magic spells. They are practices that set the conditions for receptivity. Now, a few necessary cautions. First, this is not medical advice. If you have diabetes, hypoglycemia, psychiatric conditions, are pregnant, or are taking medications that interact with dietary changes, consult a licensed clinician before altering your diet. Second, avoid sensational interpretations. Cayce's file content describes lower energy entities and earthbound spirits, and he cautioned against entering sleep unprepared. If, during the 7-day experiment, you experience distressing dreams or feel unsettled, stop the experiment, ground yourself with simple practices, walk barefoot, splash water on your face, eat a grounding breakfast, and reach out to a trusted spiritual mentor, counselor, or community. Many people who begin inner work find that old material surfaces. That's often part of the clearing process, not a sign of failure. Third, maintain a balanced, compassionate approach. This is about experimentation and observation, not moralism. If refined sugar is part of a long-standing pattern in your life, consider gradual reductions rather than abrupt elimination. It's also important to recognize that diet is only one factor among many that affect dream receptivity. Stress, unresolved emotional patterns, medications, sleep apnea, and environmental light all matter. Cayce's counsel was holistic: tend to body, mind, and spirit together. You may be wondering, what if, after 7 days, nothing changes? That's possible. Outcomes will vary. Some people notice immediate differences in dream clarity and sleep depth. Others need a longer period or to address other lifestyle variables first. The point of this experiment is not a guaranteed miracle. It's an inquiry. Cayce's model invites us to test our own receptivity and adjust habits that blunt it. If you're curious about the protective visualizations and want a quick script to follow each night, here's a condensed version you can read aloud or memorize in under 2 minutes. Sit quietly and breathe slowly. Imagine a clean white light entering through the crown of your head and traveling down your spine into your heart. See it expand to form a luminous sphere around your body.
Say, I ask for guidance from my highest good. I am protected and I receive what is for my highest healing. Ask your single question, then let go. Sleep with an attitude of openness rather than neediness. One final note about interpretation and responsibility. The reading files we've used, the archived Cayce material recorded by stenographers such as Gladys Davis and preserved by the ARE, make a consistent case for sleep as a sacred laboratory. They teach preparation, purity, and the importance of inner discipline. Taking those principles and asking how they apply to 20th and 21st century diets is a reasonable exercise.
Naming refined sugar as the one food in this video is an interpretive bridge. It is an inference grounded in Cayce's stress on purity and the practical mechanics of nervous system regulation. If the production team later uncovers a primary source Cayce citation that names a specific food, that would deserve its own follow-up video. For now, consider this an invitation to experiment and to notice. To close, remember the through line of the cases we reviewed. People set intention, entered into guided sleep practices, received precise information or healing imagery, and then returned to waking life with new choices, remedies, and clarity. We are not promising guaranteed healings or prophetic pronouncements. What we are offering is a method. Reduce the one thing that most commonly fragments sleep and destabilizes your nervous system, refined sugar, and pair that elimination with Cayce-style preparatory practices. Try the 7-day refined sugar elimination and the nightly ritual. Keep a dream journal. Observe changes in dream clarity, mood, and decision-making. If your nights become clearer, report back in the comments. If you run into difficulties, seek support from a trusted guide. Sleep is not a place to be passive. It is a temple of revelation, a nightly chance to receive direction, healing, and confirmation. Treat your evenings as sacred. Stop the one food that is likely clogging that channel for 7 days. Open a space, set a question, and let the quieter, clearer version of you speak. If you try the challenge, share one short note in the comments after day 7, one sentence about what changed. And if you want a guided version of the white light visualization and a downloadable dream journal template, look for the link in the description. This is where practice meets discovery. Give it a week, be patient with yourself, and notice what begins to shift.